The ships start here market. Is it similar to what we are faced with here today? So Matt, you were around in real estate back then.
Yeah.
If you had to compare that market to what we just came out of?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Very similar. A ship start here happened in a more condensed time frame, but you really had about a 9-month window where our market went crazy, and it was all on the same premise. The promise of population growth and jobs, right? And so that's what we've seen in a longer time frame here over the last 4 or 5 years is incredible population growth. The unemployment rate stayed low. Employment was high, and so when you have that environment, you tend to have a great market, right? And then something has triggered the stop of that great market. So when the ship start here, it was the introduction of a bunch of new mortgage rules that were meant to sort of slow down the market across the country, primarily in the bigger centers, but it had the same effect here. So we had shortening of amortizations, 20% down as a minimum on secondary properties, and the introduction of the stress test. And that's the end of ship start here. All that momentum taken out of the market. We know what it is now. It's interest rates, right? The market's been controlled by interest rates, right? And so it's a purposeful slowing down of the market. And so, yeah, I would say it feels very similar, except it's happened over 4 years rather than 12 months.
Yeah, and just different circumstances, but certainly similar outcomes of the market. And again, if you bought your house, I believe, so during ship start here, from November 2011 to I would say mid 2012.
Yep, you got it. Yeah.
You would have. At asking was a big thing, and I remember Roy Thomas, I think, had an offer that was 30,000 over asking. That was huge.
Yeah, that's right.
For our market back then. But when you went to sell, it was difficult because, and in most cases, you just paid asking. And now, then you were trying to sell your house, and you either bought it or sold it for what you purchased it for, or you had to take a loss. And I think we only had a growth here last year in home values of about 2.8%.
That's right.
So it hasn't gone up a lot.
So
by the time you factor in, your fees to sell a house,
absolutely.
I would say most sellers are losing money, which is unfortunate.
They certainly haven't built any equity over the last 12 months, right? It doesn't feel like that to me anyway.
No.
One person that was sort of a mentor of mine in younger days when my job used to be I was an equities trader, he'd say, well, you don't realize a loss until you actually sell, right? And so that's what we're seeing right now is that the people who are forced to sell for some reason, if they bought last year and they're forced to sell this year, then it's a very difficult scenario to be in. But when you see kind of a slowing of price increases, that's where you see people just kind of decide, I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens. And if you think about 2013 till today, well, the price of your home has probably doubled, right?
Oh, and my goodness!
So that's a good thing, right? And but it's taken 10 years. And so if you don't have 10 years to wait because you've been relocated to Toronto, well, that's when you're going to have to make some tough decisions.
I know, it's hard. And you just hate having those conversations with the seller because, you may not. Right? And, I'm having a couple of conversations right now, and thankfully, the sellers are very, they've been very transparent with me, and they know that, we may have to take a hit, but we have to go back to Ontario, and it's really, really unfortunate. And, what I'm seeing a lot of this year is, offers that are coming in way below ask, like $40,000 to $60,000, like just on, smaller priced homes. What are your thoughts of that? That's normal.
Honestly, people do go fishing for deals when they sense that there's a slower market, or they sense that there might be more scenarios where someone has to move. They're just human nature is that they're naturally going to go fishing for a bargain in that case, right? And every once in a while, someone is desperate enough, and I hate using that word because it has such a negative connotation, but you need to move. You got a job coming. You got your grandkids are being born. Whatever the case is, like you got to move. You might be tempted to just take that and go, right? Because no other offers have come along, and so. I think it's a frustrating strategy, both for obviously for sellers. As you're representing one of these buyers as an agent, I think it's a frustrating strategy as well, because your likelihood of success is very low, and it's hard on your reputation in that case as well. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
And what I find funny is if I tell agent, okay, you're in competing offers, you're coming in below asking.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if you just come in at ask, you still might be the better, the better of the two.
That's right.
But I just see a lot of low balls, and I see a lot of offers falling. Have you seen that in your office or in our office?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you see, in this kind of market, people are able to add conditions back in. They're, the stress test is now up around, as high as 8%. You had to qualify at an 8% rate for a while as a part of the stress test. It's a little less stability in the jobs market. So like you absolutely can see deals fall on financing more often. Inspection clauses are back in now, which we missed for about a year and a half. And, to your point in one of our earlier conversations, people are waiting for that right perfect fit, right? And if there's something a little wrong with the house, that might mean it's not the perfect fit for them. And that's,
which
that's
is
hard.
sad.
It is sad, yeah.
And again, because we don't have that much inventory.
Yeah, that's right.
And if I'm a first-time home buyer, you can't have the Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
It's to get into something, whether it be a semi, a condo. In fact, the condo townhouses are gorgeous, especially over in Cowie Hill.
Yeah.
Or, you get a mobile home.
Yeah.
Get into something.
Absolutely.
And, I find that odd when sometimes people say there's nothing affordable.
Yeah.
If there was nothing affordable, there are like 50% of our market can't, because the average household income in Halifax, I believe, is $100,000 or 98,000, which will allow you to afford a home at around 550. Take out a debt service ratio, that'll bring you down to, let's say, between 475. 510.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there's a ton of that product, and there's more of that product being listed this year. Are you seeing, that's what I feel that I'm seeing, that there's a lot of lower end product being sold.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's what you notice for sure, because that's the stuff that does move. Yeah, lower priced homes, right? And I think builders have gotten wise to the fact that you're going to have to be in that market if you want to move the volume of products that you want to move, right? If you want to be building homes that are $1 million plus, then you're likely going to have to sit on that inventory for a little while longer, right?
Absolutely, because we don't have that buyer pool here.
We just don't, yeah. And my opinion of that buyer pool is that they're being patient for rates, and they know that they can wait it out a little bit there, right? And an extra percentage point on $1 million is a not insignificant amount of money, right, for your monthly payment. And so if I'm in that market, I'm thinking, a year from now, it's going to be cheaper to buy that house on a monthly basis. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but get the open mortgage, the variable mortgage rate, so you can. To me, that makes so much sense.
It does, yeah.
But it didn't make sense, when we were on the tail end of COVID, and my mortgage payment just went through the roof. But I don't think the rates are going to go back up.
It's hard to imagine a world where they're going to go back up at this point. I think we still do have a number of more months of easing here. I really believe that the target is to get these rates into the threes. In which case we have a healthy market. That creates a healthy balance between what we've seen over the last few years.
Did you see? I think I would have sent you my chart.
Yeah.
And the interest rate in 2016 was 3.67, and we had 3,000 homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and imagine the average price point back then was 270.
I know, yeah.
And we're at what, like almost 570 now.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So, when you think about the rate impact on 270 versus 570, it's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
It rises up to 4.5%. Well, it's the value on which that rate has gone up is double what it was 10 years ago, and so that's impactful when people have to pay that mortgage.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, once again, that's a wrap. I appreciate you coming out. Thank you.
Yeah, always my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.